Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater. And Godzilla King of the Monsters, this bad boy behemoth badass movie right here, which I seriously cannot recommend enough, has not had the best start, so to speak. It has not had the best getting off the ground. It took in a lot of money overseas. It's made, I think, about 300 million worldwide right now. Definitely nowhere near as much as it should. And I think Universal realizes that. I think Universal realizes that releasing the movie Memorial Day or right around Memorial Day was a bad idea. Releasing this kind of movie in the summer, even though this is probably the purest summer blockbuster I've seen in a long time, was a bad idea. And the reason why is because of, I'm going to say, Endgame. And other movies that have taken up the vast majority of the box office dollars. And as I've argued multiple times, there are, in fact, finite amount of dollars that go into the summer movie season, and it all went to really one movie. And everything else is suffering as a result of that. And that is why what we're seeing today coming out of Screen Rant here is that Godzilla V Kong possibly delayed until late 2020, which makes, I'm not going to lie here, the most sense. Push the movie back a few months, put it out towards the end of the year in a moment where you can have full domination of the box office and not be up against what's coming out. This is one of the reasons why Hollywood needs, and I talked about this in that video. I said Godzilla cannot survive in the current studio system because they don't stretch out the releases of these films. They go bam, 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 bam. I mean, they bang out as fast as your father pregnant your mother. I'm just saying that's what they do. And and it's not working. Anyway, the article here says Godzilla V Kong may get delayed from its March release to later in 2020. The upcoming MonsterVerse crossover event was originally planned for May 20th, 2020, but was moved up to March 13th, presumably to avoid competition with Fast and Furious 9. Yeah, because that's going to be a billion-dollar movie, hands down. The last two films are going to do very, very, very well. So having it come out in March is actually not a bad time, to be fair. That's actually a really good time to come out, because if it's got a couple weeks to get around whatever else is coming that's big, that could be pretty good. Now, Godzilla v Kong does serve as a sequel to King of the Monsters and Kong Skull Island. And of course, Michael Dougherty, the director of King of Monsters here, says that it's basically going to be like Rocky's fight with Ivan Drago in Rocky 4. So it's going to be pretty crazy. Now, this is kind of what Toby Emmerich is saying, who is the chairman of Warner Brothers. He says here, the film will deliver in the way the fans were looking for. With Godzilla King of the Monsters, it might come out later in the year, so we can deliver an A+ movie. So the likelihood of you seeing it until late 2020 seems to be pretty high. And look, that's the best bet. And it's not necessarily, it's not necessarily to make the movie better. I think a lot of the issue was that it was just difficult for the movie to get out in the way that they wanted it to. I think it was difficult because of the timing. I mean, look what came out right beforehand, right? So you had Avengers Endgame, and then there was Detective Pikachu, then John Wick, then Aladdin, then Godzilla. Then the week after that was X-Men. And it's like even X-Men tanked out with $33 million this weekend. These kind of movies cannot survive in this massively, massively crowded season. And it's been happening now for over a decade. Only a few movies get that type of return. And then everything else is left to the home video market, which is absolutely crumbling upon itself or in on itself. And the reason for that has everything to do with everyone going streaming services now. And so Time Warner is going to probably be launching later on this year with Godzilla King of the Monsters in HDR being probably one of the premier elements that they're going to be promoting for this thing. And so it's going to be harder and harder for these studios to make the type of money they need to keep these things going. And that is unfortunate. That is really unfortunate, but it's also showing us a shifting marketplace. And the shifting marketplace should be quality over quantity, right? Now, we've always relatively argued that quality over quantity should be the case, but when it comes to movie studios and having to fill 52 weeks a year with new movies to keep money coming in, they tend to put out a lot. they tend to put out a great deal. And a lot of times it's like maybe one, two big budgets with a bunch of smaller budgets or micro budgeted films in hopes that a couple of them pick up and then do well. But a lot of times we're reading more and more often about these films not even breaking even, that they're becoming massive write-downs for these studios. Case in point, 2016, Sony had to write down $980 million because their film studio just was crumbling in 2016. And they got lucky with Spider-Man in 2017, as well as Baby Driver and Jumanji. Those are the three big hits for Sony. And I mean, maybe the Emoji Movie, if you want to argue, that did well. But again, they pump out so many movies that, you know, when a $30 million Baby Driver is what was touted as being one of the high earners, that's telling you something. I mean, The Dark Tower was a massive flop that year, and that's a big issue. So anyway, these studios are consistently screwing themselves. I think a lot of people out there are realizing that they want to section off their money for these theatrical experiences. I would focus more on the cinematic experience, having it be a massive VFX powerhouse and get people in. Hopefully tell a compelling enough story to keep them coming back with their friends for wanting to relive that experience. That, of course, would be the best course of action. But we'll have to wait and see if they do that. I think releasing Godzilla V Kong at the end of 2020, as much as it sucks that it's going to be pushed back a number of months and not coming out right before my 38th birthday, that sucks. But you know what? I would rather the movie do well and wait to see it, if I'm being fair. Hopefully we'll find out more here pretty soon come Comic-Con, although I don't know what exactly... no, Warner's is skipping Comic-Con this year, so we're not going to learn anything. That's another downer that Warner's is doing. Goes to show you how much chaos that studio is in right now. It really does. If you think about it, everything they're doing shows you how bad things are. Anyway, I leave it to you, your thoughts, your opinions. Write it down below in the comments. I look forward to reading them. If you made it this far, type in Godzilla in the chat. Be sure to thumbs up the video. It all helps out with the algorithm. And then if you really want to support the channel, if you like what I do here, please consider supporting via Patreon. YouTube is demonetizing a lot of channels right now. While not this channel specifically, they are really restricting a lot of the ad rates, and it is putting a stranglehold on a lot of people. So I'm just going to be honest with you guys on that front. If you like it, kick down a buck. It helps out quite a bit. I'll talk to you all later. Thank you very much. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.